What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Mockdraft Guy YouTube channel. It is January 9th. It is the day after the 2022-23 NFL regular season has ended. This last 18 weeks has absolutely flown by. We've had some really big surprises and all that. So you already know what time it is, though. It's after the regular season. So it's time to do my 7-round team mock draft. So I'm going to be going in draft order this year. Last year, I kind of just bounced around from team to team, whatever team I felt like doing. This year, I am going to do in order of first round selection. So obviously, as you know by the title, probably the reason why you clicked on the video, I am doing the Chicago Bears first. They lost in week 18. The Houston Texans won. So that means that they flip-flop picks. The Chicago Bears now have the number 1 overall pick. And so the way I'm really going to be doing it, you see up top here, you see how like Seattle has the number 5 overall pick, and then the Eagles have the number 10 overall pick. I'm not going to be doing playoff teams in that order. So like I'm going to skip over Seattle. I'm going to skip over the Eagles. Any team in the playoffs that has a high draft pick through trade or whatever it may be, I'm going to hold off on that until they are officially out of the playoffs, because then that will be set. Their draft order will be set. So obviously these teams that aren't in the playoffs, their draft order is pretty much set for the most part, unless they have picks traded with teams that are in the playoffs right now. But for the most part, the picks that are in the first few rounds are pretty much set. So without further delay, I think we should just get right into it and get going. So we got the Chicago Bears, number 1 overall pick. I do not want to trade. No, thank you. Let me preface this by saying that I do believe that the number 1 overall pick will be traded. I don't think that there's a scenario where the Chicago Bears hold on to this number 1 overall pick. But until a trade is made, I am going to be picking like the Bears are keeping the number 1 overall pick. And for me, if they're keeping the number 1 overall pick, it's between 2 guys. It's between Jalen Carter and Will Anderson Jr. And for me, 3-tech is the absolute biggest need for this team. I'm going Jalen Carter. I firmly believe that he is the best player in this entire draft, and I think that he'd be an absolute force. You think of dominant interior players. You think of Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, Chris Jones, those guys that are able to get a pass rush in the middle. It's something that really you don't see too often now, to get a dominant force. I don't want to trade again either. A dominant force in the middle of the defense is something that's pretty hard to come by nowadays. So I think Jalen Carter could be that type of player. Then in the second round, pick number 55, I am going to go with a wide receiver here, and I am going to go with Cedric Tillman. I really like Cedric Tillman here at pick number 55. I know a lot of people might think, oh, well, that's a reach based off of the player rankings. Everyone has different player rankings, but the fact of the matter is I love Darnell Mooney, and they traded for Chase Claypool. So having a 6'4", 225-pound boundary wide receiver and a great slot receiver, you're missing something. That's another boundary weapon. Cedric Tillman went over 1,000 yards last year. He was kind of injured this year. He went over 600 yards. 6'3", 215 pounds. Could be that other boundary wide receiver that the Bears are really missing. I know Equanimeous St. Brown is 6'5" and all that, but I think Cedric Tillman has a real good chance to be a very, very good boundary wide receiver, and the Bears desperately need another wide receiver. Then going on to pick number 64 here, I'm going to go with an offensive lineman. I know a lot of people might not like that. I like Darnell Wright. The reason why I like Darnell Wright, I know that the Bears have this conglomerate of young talent. I know they signed Alex Leatherwood. They drafted Tevin Jenkins a couple years ago to be one of their tackles of the future, but he definitely fits better at the guard position. I know Braxton Jones has played fairly well. Larry Borum is like the backup to every single position on that depth chart. I think they just need another consistent tackle. You need another, especially since Riley Reif is going to be a free agent. They got a couple older free agents as well. You let those guys go. You bring in another young tackle, 6'6", 337 pounds, has the athleticism and versatility to play either tackle position. I think it's a good move to make if you're the Chicago Bears. Then moving on to pick number 102. This is the last pick in the third round. I'm going to go with a linebacker here, and I'm going to go with DeMarvion Overshown. The reason why is I love his size, and I feel like ever since the Bears traded Roquan Smith, they really need another tackling machine, another playmaker in the middle of that defense, and I feel like Overshown, 6'4", 224 pounds, he's a little bit undersized, but he kind of reminds me of Telvin Smith, excuse me. I was going to say Tevin Jenkins. He's on the Bears already. He reminds me of Telvin Smith a little bit. If you guys remember Telvin Smith, he was about 6'3", like 220 pounds at max, but he was an absolute playmaker and a tackling machine. He reminds me of that. He would fit perfectly in the middle of the Chicago Bears defense. So we're going to go over to pick number 133, and I'm going to go with a cornerback here. I'm going to go Jacorian Bennett. The reason why I'm going to go with Jacorian Bennett, I know, oh man, these trades are killing me over here. I like Jacorian Bennett a lot because of the versatility. He's played on the boundary at Maryland. He's played in the slot. He's also played some safety as well. And Kyler Gordon has shown really great flashes. Jalen Johnson, when he's healthy, is really, really good. I love the versatility. And also, the Bears kind of sort of need a third cornerback in a way. Jalen Jones has been okay. But I really think Jacorian Bennett, with his versatility, you could always add. The secondary is such a volatile position, whether it be safety, whether it be cornerback. You can never have enough talent, really, is what I want to say, in the secondary. And someone as versatile as Jacorian Bennett lines up with Jaquan Brisker as well, Eddie Jackson. I think it would be a great addition to the secondary of the Chicago Bears. That really let them down a lot this past season. Then we're moving on to pick number 135, and I'm going to go with a running back here. I'm going to go with Kendre Miller. I think Kendre Miller this past year has really shown us that he can be a very, very good running back at the next level. 6 foot, 225 pounds. And also he's getting some really, really good screen time with TCU being in the college football playoffs. And at the time of recording, possibly playing in the national championship game. I know he's about 50-50 right now. But I think he's a great player. He's an overall great player. He's still young as well. I was going to go with Chase Brown if he was there. But I don't know, Chase Brown kind of scares me. That Illinois offense just beat him into the ground this past year. He ran the ball so many times. I think it was 343 carries he had. I like Kendre Miller a lot. He could be that perfect complement to Khalil Herbert. I know David Montgomery is a free agent. I don't know if he comes back. I think the Chicago Bears have had so much success drafting running backs in the later rounds that I think that they let him walk. Maybe he priced himself out of Chicago, even though they have boatloads of money to spend. I think that Kendre Miller is that perfect, maybe 3-down running back or perfect complement to Khalil Herbert in Chicago. Then moving on here at pick number 140, I'm going with an edge rusher here. And I'm going to go, I know that KJ Henry and everyone's still here. I don't think these guys are going to be here in the actual draft. I'm going to go with Ali Gaye. In the later-ish rounds, that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, those are the rounds where you start to take chances on more athletically gifted guys. Ali Gaye didn't really have much success in college stats-wise. Only 6.5 sacks in his career, but he's 6'4", 260 pounds. He's a little bit on the older side as well. He's 24 years old. If you guys remember, Odafe Owa didn't have a sack in his collegiate career at Penn State, and he was drafted in the 1st round because he was an athletically gifted freak. And I think that's what Ali Gaye here is. And, the Bears do need some help on the edge, and I think that he could be a little bit of a project, but he could pay dividends in the hopefully near future. And then with the last pick at 219, I'm going to go with an interior offensive lineman. I like McClendon Curtis from Chattanooga here. The reason why 6'6", 338 pounds, but he has the line versatility. He's lined up at tackle at Chattanooga. He's lined up on the interior as a guard. I'm a really big fan of how the Bears implemented their offensive linemen this year and kind of moved them around and got the best of them. And I think that it's a perfect situation for McClendon Curtis to fall into. At the 7th round, you're kind of, like I said, taking chances on guys that could be projects. And he has the chance to be a really great steal for any team if they can coach him up properly and use him to the best of his abilities. And he's extremely versatile. He's very athletic, and he's got some great size to play tackle or guard. I'm going to go with McClendon Curtis there. So that concludes my 7-round 2023 Chicago Bears mock draft. Instead of doing the 1-round or 2-round mock drafts for the entire NFL, I'm going to be doing more 7-round team mock drafts. That's what I did last year. I'm going to continue that trend and do it again this year, including my player profiles. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Have a great day. Thank you so much.